Hello students, I'm here again with another video of the non-profit making organization. As we have made revision in our last video, sorry, okay, as we have made our revisions in the last video regarding the financial statement prepared, the features and the format of these three financial statements. But out of these three financial statement, balance sheet was there. I haven't discussed this format. Okay, so here it is. Before going into the format, I would like to tell you a non-profit making concern can be of any nature. Just a service, it has a aim of providing service to the society for the welfare, and it don't have any profit making objective. But a non-profit making organization can be a school, college, temples. Okay, it can be a trust, it can be a club, it can be a society, whatever it can be. Okay, so depending on the nature there are terms. Okay, so here there are several terms for the non-profit making concern, because it can be a library also, it can be a gymnasium also. So depending on the nature of the non-profit making concern, the assets and liabilities exist in it. Okay, so this is from your Kalyani Publisher book, where I am explaining about the format of balance sheet. Okay, so see, first of all, as I have told you, there will be capital fund in the liability side. Surpluses are added to it. If you have a deficit, it will be deducted. And see, there are moreover, there are different type of funds over here. That is tournament fund. Okay, if you are you are running a club and you are organizing some functions like competitions, where you are making children participate and awarding them prizes. So for that you have to collect some fund, that is called as the tournament fund. And if you get any income from that, it is added to it. And if you get if you pay some expenses, definitely you have to pay expenses for the tournament fund, like you have to purchase the tournament kits, like the for the playing. Okay, so all those things comes under the tournament expenses, or bringing over those tournament kits and loading and unloading charges. So those come under the tournament expenses. See here also, income that I have told you in our balance sheet, that receipts that are capitalized. Okay, receipts that are capitalized are recorded in the liability side of balance sheet. I hope you must be remembering that sentence that we have discussed in our last video, in the last part. Okay, so see, income from tournament fund, it is not having a lakh amount rupees, that within some thousands. Okay, and the tournament expenses also are very few amount. Okay, since these are expenses and this income are of revenue nature, but related to a specific fund. Okay, related to a particular fund. So these receipts and these payments are capitalized and treated in balance sheet itself to the fund, to the respective fund, but not taken to income and expenditure account. As you can see, the income from tournament fund, investment, or the tournament expenses, these are revenue nature of items, but since it is related to a specific fund, it is shown in the liability side of balance sheet in the fund itself. Okay, so never get confused regarding this. Then there is prize fund, and same it is here, income from prize fund, investment. And see, here it you have got for term like tournament fund investment, prize fund investment. When you get a certain amount for the fund, you make it invest. So those investments are here. I will show you. As you can see, tournament fund investment, more investments are also here. See, prize fund investment, match fund investment. So when those fund amount is if you get a targeted amount for the fund, or you collect a targeted amount for the fund, then those funds are invested in the market for getting a regular source of income for the particular fund. Okay, so those funds, when are invested, are shown in the asset side of balance sheet. But unless it is invested, it is just a fund and it is treated as a liability, and any income or expense related to those funds are adjusted, that is added or deducted from the fund itself in the liability side of balance sheet. It is not taken to income and expenditure account. Okay, so as you can see, there are different type of funds in the liability side: building fund, match fund, scholarship fund, poor and benevolent fund, endowment fund, election fund, loans for the betterment of the organization. When you are running by shortage of funds, you used to take loans from the banks or any sort of commercial organizations. So now see, special subscription, that means I am talking about life membership fees. Then there are entrance fees if capitalized, legacies, government grant for building. So there are lot of things coming under the liability side of balance sheet. And here are the donation. As I've told you, there are two type of donation: general donation and specific donation. If donation received for a specific purpose are treated to be as the liability. So see, there are different type of specific donations, that is donation for building, donation for books, donation for computers, donation for instruments, donation for pavilion. Then there are outstanding expense and income received in advance, and these two are the fictitious nature of items, fictitious liability, that you also get in your trading organization. Okay, so see, out of the terms you must be knowing that it is not a business, it is just a society or a club or a non-profit making concern where we are getting this type of terms or the item, because this type of items or terms we won't get in the balance sheet of a trading organization. Okay, so moving on to the asset side of balance sheet. So see, common assets, that is land, ground, sports equipment, machines, furnitures, fixtures, billiard tables, library books, motor vehicles, launch. If you are running a boat club, so it will be having some boats, so that is the asset. Laboratory, investment, bicycle, crockery, curtains, investments. So see, these are very common things that is found in the non-profit making organization, depending on the nature of the society. As I have told you, it may be a club, it may be a trust, it may be orphanage, whatever it can be. So depending on that, it has assets likewise. Okay, so these are the common assets that you will be getting in your non-profit making organization, and you won't get this type of terms in bulk, because these are the examples just given in the specimen. Out of this you will be getting some few amount, it won't be having so much of assets and liabilities. Okay, and here, as I told you, see, prize fund investment, match fund investment, scholarship fund investment. There are different type of investment. First of all, a particular fund is generated, and targeted amount is collected, and upon getting the targeted amount from the surplus, those funds are invested in the market for getting some income. That is given here as the income from tournament fund, income from prize fund investments. Okay, so for getting this type of regular source of income, those funds are invested in the market. Okay, and when those funds are invested, they are taken to be as the general investment or the specific investment, depending on the nature. And investments, as you know, are the assets. Okay, and shown in the asset side of balance sheet. Then there are fixed deposit, stock of refreshments, bar stock, stock of medicines, electric installations, prepaid expenses. So see, before going to this, these are all the fixed assets. I am talking about fixed assets. It don't have any current assets over here. So these all are the fixed assets. And if you talk about the stock of medicine, stock of refreshment, bar stock, that can be the current assets. But here, as I have told you, no categorization is made like fixed assets, fixed liability, current assets, current liability. Okay, so no categorization or classification is required for preparing the balance sheet of a non-profit making concern. You can just write it as capital payment on the asset side and the capital receipt on the liability side. Okay, so after going this, there are fictitious nature of items, that is fictitious asset you find in the trading organization, that is prepaid expense, accrued income, and these are again the current asset balances, cash in hand and cash at bank. But as you can see, there is no more a order like proper categorization and classification. But if you keep in your mind, you are preparing the balance sheet in the order of permanence, so keep the fixed assets or liabilities nature of items in the top, then you write the current nature of items, then you write the fictitious items as in the last. Okay, as it is given here, this is the order of permanence. But here the current asset balances are given, which is to be written in the between, not in the last. So this is to be kept in mind. Even if you don't make any classification, but you have to keep in mind that whether you are preparing your balance sheet in the order of permanence or in the order of liquidity. So depending on that, you have to write, even if you don't make a proper categorization or classification of the assets and liabilities into fixed, current or fictitious, but you have to keep in mind whether you are preparing the balance sheet in the order of permanence or in the order of liquidity, and depending on that, you have to set a chronology for posting those assets and liabilities. So these are the different nature of assets and liabilities that you will be find in your problems of the non-profit making organization. Okay, so this is what the balance sheet format that we haven't discussed in our last video, unfortunately. So that I have told you now, this is the book of this is Kalyani Publisher, and if you find this balance sheet any confusing or any terms as confusing, you can ask me or you can text me. Okay, I will explain you. So as I have told you, in our next video we will be discussing about the difference between income and expenditure account and receipt and payment account. So that is what we are going to discuss now. Okay, so let us discuss the difference between as you can see here, The difference between receipt and payment account and income and expenditure account is much easier if you know properly the meaning of these two financial statements and also the features that we have discussed in our last video. Okay, if you know properly the feature and meaning of these two financial statements, it is very easier. Okay, so moving on to our point, left hand side is taken as receipt and payment account and right hand side is taken as income and expenditure account. Okay, receipt and payment account says it is a real account, it is a nominal account. I hope you don't have any problem regarding this, that why it is called as a real account, why it is called as a nominal account. Okay, and it follow as you know, since we follow a cash base of accounting, here all the cash receipts are recorded and cash payments are recorded, and here whether cash is paid or not, but if it is related to this present year, it is recorded in this account. Okay, similar points will be getting the differences. Okay, so before that, just it is enough for you to know that it is a real account, it is a nominal account, and I have also explained why it is called as a real account and nominal account. Again, if you say, see, receipt and payment, so what that is real account, meaning debit what comes in and credit what goes out. Comes in means receipt, goes out means payment. So receipt and payment indicates real account. Okay, and income and expenditure, and the name clarifies itself as a nominal account. Okay, so by the name only you can distinguish or identify them as a real or nominal account. I hope you don't have any confusion regarding this point. Okay, moving on to next, as we have discussed earlier, it is similar to cash book and it is similar to profit and loss account. Okay, the cash book that you prepare in your profit and loss in your trading organization is similar to receipt and payment account, but the main peculiarity that I have told you earlier is, here cash book can be prepared in three columnars, that is single column, double columnar, triple columnar, but receipt and payment account is not prepared in 2 to 3 columns. It is all the cash and bank transactions are merged in the same column, and even all the cash receipts and revenue receipts are also written in the same column. And it is similar to profit and loss account. Why it is similar to profit and loss account, that I have also told you, because in the income and expenditure account, similarly like profit and loss account, all the revenue receipts and revenue payments are recorded here. Okay, moving on to third point, it records both capital and revenue items. Okay, because as I have told you, receipt and payment account is the question, and out of those receipt and payment account items, you have to find the capital nature of items and revenue nature of items, and the revenue nature of item are taken to income and expenditure account respectively in the debit and credit side, and all capital nature of items are taken to the balance sheet. Okay, depending on the capital payment or capital receipt on the liability or asset side. So here it says it records both capital and revenue items, and here it says it records revenue receipts and payment only, because here two type of receipts and payments are recorded. Here since only revenue nature of items are recorded, that is revenue receipts and payment, so the word only is used here. Okay, so the next point here is, it usually shows debit balance and it may show debit or credit balance. I hope you may get confusion regarding this point, but it is a much easier point. See, as you know, we have a sentence in our cash book when we have studied. I have dictated you. It said that the total cash received cannot exceed the total cash paid. That means, for example, if I have 5,000 rupees, so I cannot make expenses for 6,000 or more than 5,000. If you say 5,100 also, I can make expenses only up to 5,000. That means the expenses can be made out of the balance of 5,000 can be less than or equal to 5,000, but cannot be more than 5,000. So that's what the sentence I have told you now. The total cash received, or the total cash payments cannot exceed the total cash received. So in that case, always the cash received will be more than the cash payment. So definitely if receipts are more, obviously as the real account it says the golden rule, it will show debit balance. Understood? Because the total cash payment cannot exceed the total cash received, so always the cash received will be more, and since it is a real account, the receipt shows debit balance, so it always shows debit balance. Definitely it will show debit balance. Okay, cash balance cannot be credit because it is an asset, as you know, current asset. Okay, in the reverse it says is made a show debit or credit balance, and it is also very easier. Likewise, the profit and loss account, it may show surplus or deficit. If it shows surplus, it is a credit balance, and if it shows deficit, it is a debit balance. See, it is an income and expenditure account. If incomes are more than the expenditure, it is surplus, which shows credit balance. And if the expenditures are more than the income, it is deficit, that shows debit balance. So therefore it is said that income and expenditure account shows debit or credit balance. Okay, moving on to the next point. It says receipt and payment account starts with the opening balance of cash and bank. Okay, and in the reverse it says the income and expenditure account. If you say, okay, it does not start with any opening balance of cash and bank. Okay, so see, as we have discussed in the format also, likewise cash book, the receipt and payment account starts with the opening balance of cash and bank, and income and expenditure account do not have any opening balance. That's what said in this point. I hope this is clear. This is not a difficult point. So receipt and payment account like cash book has opening balance of cash and bank, and the income and expenditure account do not have any opening balance. Thus the revenue payments and revenue receipts are recorded in the debit and credit side depending on the nature of the item. Okay, so moving on to the next item, it says the receipt and payment account says the closing balance shows cash in hand or cash at bank. Okay, the same thing as we have the format here itself. See, it is a receipt and payment account and the closing balance shows the balance of cash and bank. That's what given in this point. Okay, the closing balance shows cash in hand or cash at bank. Same, the cash book shows of a trading organization. Coming to the income and expenditure account, it says the closing balance represents either surplus or deficit. As I have told you, when you close the income and expenditure account, and if incomes are more than the expenditure, it shows surplus, that is the credit balance, and if the expenditures are more than the income, then it is deficit, that is the debit balance. And this surplus is added to capital fund and this deficit is deducted from the capital fund, as just now I have showed the format of or the specimen of balance sheet. Okay, so clear. So the closing balance of receipt and payment account shows the cash in hand or cash at bank, as we have seen the format, and the closing balance of the income and expenditure account shows the result in the form of surplus or deficit that is to be adjusted in the capital fund in the given in the inner column of the closing balance sheet. Okay, moving on to the next point. These things we have discussed in the future, so I hope it won't bother and make you confusion. It follows cash basis of accounting because it records cash transactions only. Okay, there is a point in receipt and payment account in the future itself where it says all the cash receipts are recorded in the receipt side or the debit side of receipt and payment account, it relating to whatever year, previous year or current year or next year. And same, all type of cash payments are recorded in the payment side or the credit side of receipt and payment account, whether it relates to last year, present year or next year. So it follows cash basis of accounting. It doesn't matter for which year cash is received or for which year cash is paid. It only matters whether cash is received or not. Okay, so therefore it follows cash basis of accounting. And as I have told you, the receipt and payment account follows mercantile or accrual basis of accounting. And as you know, accrual or mercantile basis means it mainly focuses on the non-cash transactions. Okay, so income and expenditure account records, as it says in the feature itself, it records both cash and non-cash transaction. See, if there is any salaries paid, it will be recorded in the debit side or the expense side of income and expenditure account. And if there is any outstanding salary regarding it, it will be also shown in the debit side of income and expenditure account by way of addition to those salaries in the form of outstanding. Okay, so that is why it follows accrual basis of accounting. If there is any payables and receivables, it will be added to those respective expense and incomes, but will be shown in the income and expenditure account. So that is what the main difference between receipt and payment account and income and expenditure account. It follows cash basis and it follows accrual basis. And I hope you got the meaning of accrual basis or mercantile basis. Moving on to the next point, it ignores non-cash items like depreciation, discount, if any, other credit transactions also. Okay, as I have told you, it follows cash basis of accounting. Definitely you won't be recording any non-cash transactions, that may be deferrals, accruals, any receivables and payables more commonly if we say. So definitely if an account follows cash basis of accounting, it won't be recording any sort of non-cash item, that may be depreciation or discount allowed or discount received. Okay, so that what this point speaks about. It ignores the non-cash items. Okay, moving on to the opposite side, it records both cash and non-cash transactions. This is the point that we have found in the feature of income and expenditure account. Since it follows the mercantile basis of accounting, it records both cash and non-cash transactions. See, as we are discussing the points, let me tell you. See, the subsequent points are followed by the previous points. If it follows cash basis, it ignores non-cash transactions. If it follows accrual or mercantile basis, definitely it records cash and non-cash transactions. So all these points are followed up. Okay, see, all these points are for real account similar to cash book, nominal account similar to profit and loss account. It records capital and revenue items. It records revenue and receipts and payments only. If it shows debit balance, it shows debit or credit balance. So what I want to say is, the points of these receipt and payment account and income and expenditure is much common, and you can find it in the features if you properly understand. That's what I told in the beginning. If you properly understand the meaning and feature of this receipt and payment account and income and expenditure account, you won't find any problem in the points of the differences of the receipt and payment account and income and expenditure account. And the most important thing that you must have to notice here is, all the points are the follow up of the previous points. Likewise, I have given you an example here. Okay, so these are the follow up points. If you understand 1 or 2 points, you can easily understand the next points that are existing because of the previous points. Okay, likewise, it is the best example. If I say it follows cash basis, it ignores non-cash transactions, and it follows accrual basis, that means it must be recording all the non-cash and cash transactions. And here, what non-cash transactions are not talking about the credit transactions. Non-cash transactions are talking about the payables and receivables, or the accruals and deferrals, that totally speaks about the accrual concept that we have discussed in our previous classes also. Okay, so I hope you got it. Moving on to our next point, last point probably. See, the in receipt and payment account says it records receipts and payments relating to past, present and future. Okay, since it follows cash base of accounting, the only matter or concern is that whether cash is received or not. It doesn't matter whether it is received or it is paid for the current year, for the previous year, or for the future year. Since it follows cash base of accounting, it must record any sort of cash payments and cash receipts if it is made. Okay, so if cash payments or cash receipts are made, it must be recorded in the book of account. It does not matter whether it is relating to past, present and future. And this is the point we have discussed several times, and it is also given in the feature of receipt and payment account. Okay, so I hope you don't get confused. See, these 3 points are similar only. These 2 points are follow up of the 8th point, that is cash. It follows cash base of accounting. Okay, moving on to the opposite side, the income and expenditure account says it records receipts and payments relating to current year only. Okay, it records receipts and payments relating to current year only. Okay, so see, it follows cash base of accounting, so definitely it records cash receipts and cash payments irrespective of the present year or past year or current year. Okay, or future year. But since it follows accrual base of accounting, it does not have any concern regarding the previous year or the future year. It only concentrates only to the current year or the present year, and it records all sort of expenses and payments or the incomes and the receipts related to current year, whether received or not. If received, it must be recorded. If it's not received, it can be called as a non-cash transaction. Okay, so all sort of receipts and payments that are received or not, whether paid or not, are recorded in the income and expenditure account. And most important thing is that it must be related to current year only. Okay, so that's what the accrual basis speaks about. And the last point here, it is the closing balance is transferred to next accounting year. Okay, the cash book also has some closing balances when you close. So when you close those balances, you write it as a carry down, and you make it brought down to the next year. Similarly, the receipt and payment account also has the closing balance of cash and bank. Here, as you can see in the format, the closing balance of cash and bank of the receipt and payment account taken to the or forwarded to the next accounting year of the non-profit making concern. It doesn't go into waste or doesn't go deteriorated. Okay, means it doesn't go destroyed. So the closing balance of cash and bank are taken to the next accounting year for the non-profit making concern. That is what the last points of difference between income and expenditure account and receipt and payment account. Okay, so this is very common point. If you make any brought down balance after carried down, it definitely goes to the next accounting year. And in the opposite side, it says the closing balance is transferred to balance sheet by way of adjusting to capital fund. Okay, this is the point also we have discussed earlier. If the closing balance of income and expenditure account shows either surplus or deficit, that means either credit balance or debit balance. Again I am telling you, surplus means excess of income over expenditure, and deficit means excess of expenditure over the income. So depending upon the items existing in the income and expenditure account, it may show surplus or deficit. And the closing balance of this receipt and payment account, since it is cash or bank, taken to the next accounting year. But the closing balance of income and expenditure account, like profit and loss account, you have profit or loss, and here you get surplus or deficit. They are not taken to the next accounting year, but they are adjusted to balance sheet, as we have seen in the starting of the video, the format of the balance sheet, where the surplus are added to the capital fund and the deficit is adjusted, that is deducted from the capital fund. That's what the point says. The closing balance is transferred to balance sheet by way of adjusting to capital fund. Okay, so this is all about the difference between income and expenditure account and receipt and payment account. I hope you got the points, and as I have told you, please go through the meaning and feature, because I have sent this note earlier to you. So please go through the meaning and features of these two financial statement, and if you understand the meaning and feature of these two financial statement, it will be very easier to understand the difference of these two financial statements. And I have told you in my last video, if you understand properly the difference, the features and the meaning, it will be very easier for us to solve the problems that will come across in future for regarding this non-profit making concern. Okay, so please make a proper revision regarding this, and this is all about today's class regarding the difference between. And if you have any doubt regarding the format of balance sheet that I have discussed from your Kalyani Publisher accounting book, you can ask me, and also about the differences that I have sent you the note already. If you have any doubt regarding these difference points, you can also ask me by text message or you can call me. Okay, so we will meet soon regarding the problem of this concern. Okay, before that, if you have any doubt, please ask me. Okay, thank you.